Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains and Headbanging Life, gbhblofficial for short. And it's They Made What into a TV series. Shenmue the Animation, Episode 2, Daybreak. Had a lot to say about Episode 1. We got a lot to say about Episode 2 because we begin with a recap of the events of the first episode, specifically the events around Rio's father's death, which, you know, for someone coming in new is probably or even just as a reminder, the most important aspect of the story.
It happens in the game too. The amount of times when he used to sleep, and he always had dreams and memories of that,
Yeah.
of past events. Yeah,
Yeah, because things then get weird as Rio demands Landy answer why he would do this to his innocent father, and the man's answer implies there is a darker side to our past. Landy promises Rio his father's fate, pursues the matter further, which causes an enraged Rio to charge Landy, but then get put down. This is, of course, a nightmare. Rio is dreaming, having a nightmare. Opening credits. And after that, we see Shenmue going about her daily life again, but this time visiting Balu's village square. There are some references. Now, I don't know this, but the internet has reliably told me there are references to Shenmue 3 here.
yep.
And the prophecy is a key part of this scene. From a distant land in the east, he shall appear. Who is he? It does seem to suggest that Shenmue might have an idea. She has got a bit of a knowing look here, which is quite different if that's the case.
Yeah.
Back to Rio, and it's time to Shenmue properly now, which everyone knows means going around asking around the Brrraains for someone who can decipher the letter from Yandazu. So I was a bit like, this is Shenmue. There'd be an entire episode where he just gets nowhere with the letters and then gets stuck at the capsule machine for hours. But just like the game, it is a challenge because not many people read Chinese, let alone the unique characters of this. But Nozomi offers to ask around, knowing that Rio's not very good at asking others for assistance when he could use it. And that is a character part of Rio from the game. He is a very loner, kind of moody character. But Rio runs into Yamagashi, the elderly man who we actually saw in episode 1 was visiting his father at the start of the previous episode. He's resting at Suzumi Park, and Rio, he wants to basically come and pay his respects at the Hazuki residence to his fallen father. Rio agrees. And Rio asks him, look, you knew my father for a while, and is there a chance you knew about my father's life before he moved to Yokozuka? But Yamagashi cuts off the constant conversation, concerned about Rio's desire for revenge. Like, he doesn't really want to talk about it. Fair enough. While waiting for Nozomi to possibly find a reader of the letter, Rio starts to investigate criminal activity at the harbour because that's where Landy basically came in, bypassing immigration to enter the country. This is the search for sailors, and I was a bit like, whoa, we're moving fast.
Yep.
But then I realised, well, they have to. What else? Think about it. From the point where you start asking about the Chinese letter to the point of the sailors, what do you actually do? All you do is ask around things and occasionally chase someone down.
Yeah, there's only one part in between that, which it does get to it. Obviously, it's the Charlie part, and that's other than that, really. I mean, it's actually a very tiny game when you think about it. You can complete the game in about 3 hours, really, if you speedrun it. You know, but obviously we spent hours and hours because obviously we're doing toy collecting and trying to find all the clues and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, 100%. It's actually a surprisingly short game if you really concentrated on it. But yeah, this ends up with Rio going to Heartbeats, the Heartbeats bar, where he runs into two sailors outside, of course, and then he gets into a fight of them. This section is this is from the game. It's a QTE in the game, and even the moves in the animation is exactly the same. So that is some dedication, man. It carries into inside as well, where there's a brawl inside the bar, and that even ends with the bar keep giving Rio a name in exchange for never returning. And of course, that name is Charlie. We then cut to Charlie, who, upon hearing that a schoolboy is asking around about him, basically is like, well, we need to find out what this guy's after, arranges an ambush, which, because Rio's a badass, it fails, and Charlie is able to escape. Watching all of this from the shadows is Chai, who spent this episode basically upset because he'd failed and still trying to find a second mirror for Landy. Nozomi also comes up empty-handed on the letter front, apologizing to Rio. And here she kind of tries to distract him and talks to him about potentially applying to the same university because he's been accepted at one. And she's thinking, oh, maybe I could go there as well. I'm like, calm down, you horny cow. No, no. But I love the fact that, like, just like the game, Rio's like oblivious, like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, cool, buddy. Do you know what I mean? Like, looking around, like, completely oblivious to our romantic interest.
yeah,
But you can tell Nozomi's worried that he's not even going to go to university. But then, of course, she gets a call from her father, Canada, and all players from the games knows what this means. Back at Heartbeats, Charlie is worrying over a potential turf war. So basically, he's in a turf war with the Chens. Now, this is a big story within the Shenmue world, but basically, he believes Rio might be working for him. So even though, like, it's not a good idea to go after Rio, he feels he has to, wanting to capture Rio and use him as a bargaining chip, so to speak. So he actually goes after the two hot-headed sailors, Smith and Tony in their names, who Rio beat up outside Heartbeats. And they want a chance because they want revenge. He's like, well, join it with me, help me. Rio currently relaxing in U Arcade, which has a new game. Did you notice what the new game was?
I know we're going.
Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter's in there. Virtua
I didn't see
Fighter's
that
on
one.
the background in the screen. Yeah, look
I didn't see
again.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's quite big, so you should see it. But yeah, Virtua Fighter is in U Arcade now, and they're very nice to Rio, offering him the location of Charlie. Rio is wary, but goes with them. I do like the fact that they do nail this part of Rio from the game, which is
mm,
arrogant and confident. Like he's
yeah,
very confident, but it always spills into arrogance at times. He follows them to a construction site, and it's the ambush again. He does drop Zoo's letter and is actually overwhelmed by Charlie's men, but actually, so enraged, powers up. Some of those basically super moves that we get from the game,
yeah,
and yeah, takes out all the thugs. Yamagashi, who basically he ends up seeing this because he's walking by as Tony and Smith run out scared. So he kind of peers and sees what happened. But seeing this, he kind of realizes, okay, I'm probably not going to be able to stop this lad, so I might as well help him on his way.
mm,
Um, of course, the fight with Charlie ends in victory for Rio, and Charlie reveals what he knows. Landy is one of the most dangerous men in the criminal underworld. Now he realizes that Rio simply is not involved at all in his turf war with the Chens, basically, but does suggest to Rio, look, you don't want to mess with Landy.
yeah.
Or we see Chai is still watching. Now we get an optional scene from the game. Don't know if you remember this, but there is actually an optional scene of a couple where if you go to place at a certain point, you can see these scenes. And this is what I've seen, where Rio finds Yamagashi at the park having a drink with the spirit of
Mhm.
a while. The elderly man has changed his mind about witnessing Rio's face off with Charlie, and he points him to the antique shop owner Zhao Zhu Yu to get his letter translated. Yeah, I know, Rio, right? Maybe look for people who actually had Chinese names. That bugged me in the game. It was like, did he not even think like to maybe inquire about people who owned or had Chinese names?
I mean, for God's sake, in the game, you go to the Aji restaurant first, and he goes, you can't read it. So then you have to try the barber shop. That doesn't
Yep,
work. And then obviously you
yep.
see the pottery shop with a little boy with a ball.
Before leaving, Yamagashi teaches Rio a powerful martial arts move, the double blow. Finally, we see Shenmue standing upon a cliff at sunset, reciting a portion of the prophecy poem while an eagle flies overhead, screeching into the evening sky. Everyone should know that, because if you start Shenmue up, this is what you will see in very confusing
Mhm.
fashion. But briefly, we do cut to a warehouse filled with Chinese antiques where two figures cloaked in shadow are revealed. I wonder who they are.
Yep.
Chens. And that is episode number 2. This is tight. This is really cleverly done, cleverly written to put a lot of stuff into it that you would gloss over, like that are slow in the game, but they make it more exciting. But then adding cleverly placed fight scenes and more action stuff and detailed narrative around it to make it all fit together. It feels very naturally flowing, like even compared to the game. Weirdly, the writing for the show is better than the writing for the game at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that the writers are obviously clearly huge fans of the game, and they put a lot of research into it. This.
Well, yeah, I think it's only been made because of the game. It's as simple as
Mm.
that. There was no question about that. So I really am really enjoying it still. But here it comes again. You are not convincing me, Show, that Rio has any interest in revenge. He's too calm. He's too measured. Where is that anger, that hide? You say, oh, well, he flares up when he does that move. No, man, like he's under
Yeah.
attack. He's too. I'm not buying that this is the same kid that wants revenge no matter what in the game. That is willing to go after Landy, even though Landy would kill him. I'm not convinced. I'm just not buying it.
Mm. Yeah, again, it goes back to the fact that he's definitely a bit old. He feels a lot older than he did in the game.
Yeah. But I'm enjoying it, and I'm intrigued to see how they continue to tie other elements, like as we go on. It's going to be really, really cool, particularly when we get to the elements of Shenmue 2 as well.
Hmm.
Plenty more to come, of course. We've got another 11 episodes to talk about, but for now, it was episode 2, Daybreak. Got any thoughts on this you want to share? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.